Welcome back to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay, the #1 source for competitive Legends of Runeterra news and information. If you're looking for the best decks to play right now, be sure to check us out on Twitter at Master Runeterra or in our Discord. And if you want to take the next step in leveling up your game, check out our Runeterra team on Patreon, where we do weekly learning calls and one-on-one coaching. Now strap in and grab yourself some Boro snacks, because we are about to start Mastering Runeterra.
Welcome back to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay. We've got a great show for you today. Before we jump into everything, though, we got to thank all of our patrons from Patreon that support us. And thank you guys so much. You let us do what we love to do, which is make awesome Runeterra content like this podcast for you guys. And of course, shout out to our sister podcast, Runeterra Radio. Saucy and Blevins are the absolute best. If you guys have not already checked them out, please go do so. They are fantastic. So finally, we have new cards, new set, new region, new ladder, new race to seasonals. And for the first time ever, we got Worlds coming up.
We got Worlds,
in a week. Bay,
that's
talk
terrifying. To me. Worlds is in 1 week. New set, no balance change, which not stoked about, but that's okay. Ionia Sivir is kind of running over everything right now. Big surprise. But yeah, so Worlds coming up in a week. Let's start there. Okay, start there. Then we'll get into other stuff. Sure.
So Ionia Sivir, obviously the boogeyman coming out of last season.
Correct.
It does have what I saw, I think it was like a 60% win percentage on the ladder right now.
To be fair, inflated because everyone's playing garbage, right? We're all like trying out the new stuff.
But, so I played with Ionia Sivir a bit at the beginning, and then I've also played against it with some of the new decks. And I haven't been super blown away by like, oh no, this is like TF Fizz, or like, this is, can't ever beat this. Like sometimes I'm just like, hey, Scion, hey, have you met my new friend Scion? And they're just like, oh, this is
one of the best cards against them because they can't like kill it.
Yeah, not super effectively.
Yeah, they can't like stun or anything.
And let's see, I think I beat them with Darkness one time.
That's
also
a rough matchup for Darkness too.
Yeah, it can be. But you got some tools. You got a lot of pokey stick.
You got
a lot of pings,
some pokey sticks, and some vile feasts,
and some darknesses.
Pokey stick, my favorite card from the new set.
Love it.
My favorite non-champion card is pokey stick.
How did they not spoil that one? Like that just got.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw it in the client when I just was in early access and I was just scrolling down the cards looking, and I was like, "What the hell is this? 2 mana fast, deal 1, draw card." I was like, "This is awesome." This is exactly why is this not like, why'd you not show us? And it's called Pokey Stick. It's just a picture of a stick. It's hilarious.
They do stuff like that really well.
Yeah.
All the the meme stuff they do, like all the emotes that are Soul Scroll. There's so much that's so funny. The voice lines. That's one thing that there must be some funny people working at Riot. Yeah. Some clever people.
Their voice lines are very funny. I like the one where it's like Caitlyn and Veigar, and she makes some kind of short joke. And Veigar is like, "Dear Diary, kill Caitlyn."
Oh my god, really? Yeah. I don't think I've seen that one yet. Yeah, I remember her. That's so funny. I remember her making fun of him being short, but I missed that part. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so I was very going back to the Ionia Sivir and there being no balance changes. It wasn't that I was underwhelmed. I was pretty concerned coming in, being like, is this going to be another situation where the old decks are just going to dominate? And that very well might still be the case. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know. From what I'm seeing so far in the feel of playing with the deck, like Ionia Sivir and against it. Also, people kind of sleeping on Ionia Sivir. Just run into that every now and then. They're just like, combo kill you.
I feel like there's more elusives in the format now. So it might just be let's go. I think the thing with Ionia Sivir is it doesn't absolutely smash most things. It's just 55 plus against everything, and that's why it's so good, right? And that's not That's not okay.
That's not okay.
That's not okay. So yeah, it's just like slightly favored into everything, and that's what made it such a great tournament pick. Was you just pick it, and like your opponent bans it, or they have to play against it, and you're totally happy with either of them. Like, you're like, oh, cool, you banned the best deck. Like, that's fine. I have this other lineup. Like, I have these other decks that I brought. It's like, oh, you didn't ban it? All right, I'll probably just take a win off you, and then we'll move on. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything that, like, smashes it? Are there any really bad matchups?
Discard aggro beats it pretty bad, which is why, like, the Scion deck does very good against it. Because it's still discard, it still swarms, but then you have actual Scion, which is, like, very strong against them because you can't stun, and the Overwhelm's going to hit you. And they have a hard time blocking for enough. Like, you're playing discard aggro, you're probably going to chip in some damage, right? That part's really important. You have to get in the damage first. And then when you play Scion, you have to make it so that when Scion hits the board, they can't just not block it. You need them to, like, kill it, essentially. Or threaten lethal or whatever. And that's pretty easy to do with the deck. So, yeah, the discard aggro, pretty good matchup. Against it, and then I think like Elusives did decent against it, not like great, and that was actually why people switched to Demacia in the first place. I think was because you got access to like Sharp Sight and rallies, which made you a little bit better against the more linear decks. But yeah, I mean the problem is it's just really goddamn good. It's just slightly better than everything else, and that really sucks. But I do expect that to be, like, unless something crazy changes, I expect that to be the most played deck in the open part of Worlds, or the Worlds, whatever they're called, qualifiers or something. Worlds Part 1.
Open rounds.
Open round
Yeah,
Worlds.
I mean, I found it pretty telling that all the players in Fight Night got together and were like, hey, so just gentleman's agreement, no one brings Demacia Sivir.
Demacia Sivir.
Did they really? Yeah, so I think Fresh Lobster initiated it and got everyone on board.
Like, can we just play other things? Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of, like, someone tweeted that out, and I wanted to retweet it and be like, yeah, definitely don't need any balance changes here. Mm-hmm. Totally fine. Even though everyone's literally having gentleman's agreement, like, no one play this deck, it's too busted.
So if you didn't hear, the balance patch, it's not a balance patch, the patch said, hey, we don't like to put out balance patches when new cards come out, so we're not going to have one this time. And that's, like, totally fine, right? New cards can change a lot of things. But here's the problem.
Yeah.
We don't get a balance patch when new cards come out. We're not getting a balance patch 2 weeks from now because there's Worlds. We're not getting a balance patch 2 weeks after that for some reason. Like, we haven't gotten a balance patch in, like, 2 months. And we're not going to get one for another 2 months. That's 4 months of Sivir being the best thing on the planet. Period.
Yeah. When did they say it? Was October? Was it
20th?
Ooh.
October 20th. Why?
Yeah. Why 20th? Like, you can't do early October? At least?
I don't know. The biggest problem, I think there's, like, more cards coming out. And they're like, well, we can't do balance patch when more cards are coming out. The biggest problem for me is that every single time, we do this every single time, where we, the community, say, hey, guys, this isn't fine. We need to, like, fix this. You know, we're an online game for a reason. Maybe use your biggest benefit, the fact that you could patch things, and patch this shit out, right? This is too good. This right now being like the Merciless Hunter package, the Merciless Hunter Sivir package. It's too good, it needs to go. At least tune it down a little bit. And then Riot goes, nah, it's fine. It's okay. It's fine. And then 2 months later they go, yeah, our bad. It was really, really bad. Let's balance patch it. And then they balance patch it and everyone's happy and they go, don't worry, guys. We're going to start balance patching more often from now. We're going to take a more heavy-handed approach. And we're all like, yeah, they listen. Hooray. And then the same thing happens, but it takes longer. This is like the repeating thing. Every time. It takes longer and longer and longer. So it's
well, okay. To be fair, though, people do like how Blades works as a mechanic. And maybe if you'd stop complaining so much and just start playing other decks,
well, they like
find something.
That's true. The
good.
People do enjoy the play pattern. You're right. And if we just played other stuff, I thought you were serious for a second. I was like, bro.
I tried my best.
Yeah,
I tried my best to give you a straight face.
You pretty good.
So real talk though, yeah. like at least throw us a bone. Like, couldn't you make Merciless Hunter a 3/3?
Or not fearsome.
Like, just
not a lot, just a little bit.
Just the littlest. So
take
it
a point off
seems
Runner's power. It's not that hard. Like, yeah, okay. Making a balance patch is like, there's a lot that goes into it, right? You have to like test it, you have to code it or whatever. You have to make sure it doesn't like break the game, coding wise, and then you have to like do whatever it is for mobile that takes a long time. But like, we've been telling you, Sivir's the best thing on the planet for a month and a half. It's been running every single tournament.
Yeah, and so I think there's some reasons for that. I think one of the reasons is like they don't have a team that's dedicated to doing this. Like, I think that they have a team that tests the cards originally when they're building them.
A year and a
half
ago.
And they ship them out a year and a half, like 6 to 18 months ago. And then they ship those out to get coded and art made and all that stuff, right? And then when they do need the, like, oh, things are messed up, TF Fizz is running amok, Sivir, Blades, whatever, then they grab people together and like make these decisions and like hash it out and then have like a big sweeping change like we've seen a couple times over.
Sure.
Okay. When really like what they need is like a team that's just constantly like on this.
Yeah, I mean, and put out a couple more Zoe skins and a Lee skin. I'll buy them all, and then hire 2 people to sit there and just be like work on like these live changes. Like, most of the balance patches don't need to be big. We usually need like 2 things to get hit, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. And yeah, I mean,
ideally, every couple of weeks it would be nice to just like sprinkle in a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, like we're saying, Merciless Hunter loses Fearsome. Cool. Next week, like Sivir goes back to 35.
Yeah,
okay,
or
next week,
but power, or like something, or
like the huge ones where like Aphelios gone. The Watcher deck gone.
All the big buffs. I like those. I do like those, but
I don't hate them. But it'd be nice if it like was a little more gradual.
Yeah. League of Legends does a really good job. Every 2 weeks, the patch comes out, and they're usually pretty small. It's a few buffs, a few nerfs, just a couple. Like, it's a little better than we want it to be. Let's just lower some numbers a bit. This guy's not seen any play and like pro play. We really want him to, so let's crank this up a bit. We're going to adjust this over here because this isn't exactly how we intended this to work. And that's like every other week. And then once in a while, they hit you with the boom, the big ones, right? And that's like perfect. We don't have that here. I understand. Runeterra, not League. We don't have League of Legends budget. I get that. I really do understand. But like, just a little.
That's not on us, though. People always make these excuses like, oh, they can't do that. Game's not big enough for this, that, or the other. It's like, they're Riot. They can do whatever they want to do. Imagine, okay, the player base is not really big right now, so maybe they're not making, they're not making the league money for sure, right? Mm-hmm. Or any other games.
Nothing makes league money, yeah.
But if they wanted to pump like, $1 million per month into a major tournament for the next 12 months, like, oh, hey, here's $12 million. Well, 1, they're Riot. They can do that. And 2, they'll blow up that player base like a mother. Eyeballs and players will come rushing in. So I really dislike the argument of like, oh, we don't have the budget for that, or like we can't do that, or like, nah, like that stuff does exist, and it's a bit of a chicken and an egg situation, right? Where like you got to spend money to make money. So if you're just doing the bare minimum all the time, well, how do you expect the game to grow?
Yeah, I'm just worried that we'll have another Shreeman Desert being very vast situation.
So vast.
It's so vast because like. This is the we've had it over and over again now. TF Fizz was the first one I saw that I was here for, right? TF Fizz, where the community was like, this is unacceptably strong. We have to do something about it. And Riot said, nah, it's fine, nah, it's fine, nah, it's fine, nah, it's fine. Until eventually they had to admit, okay, you guys are right. It was way too good. Here's a change. And we went, praise Lord Jesus. Thank God, right?
Lord Teemo.
Praise be. Was that blasphemous? I don't know. And then Aurelia Azir and all the play patterns that we love. We sat there and we were like, this is way too good. This is way too good. This is way too good. We found the best deck in the format on day one. Day one. Not like, hey, these 2 champions are pretty good together. And then eventually we came onto like the best deck list. Like the deck list did not change by the end of day one to like the end of the season. There was like a couple things. And that was
almost
it.
Almost nothing.
And it was mostly like reacting to the rest of the meta.
Yeah.
And yeah, for months we were like, this is way too good, this is way too good, this is way too good, this is way too good. And then finally, after saying, no, it's fine, no, it's fine, they went, this is, okay, you guys were probably right. Here, we'll change it. And guess what? Now we're going to make balance patches more often. Don't worry. And here we are. Hey, Sivir's way too good, Sivir's way too good, Sivir's way too good. Okay, well, we'll give you a balance patch in 4 months.
Yeah. I think part of the problem is definitely like everyone's screaming all the time about what they want.
And most
right?
people
Lee Sin's too good.
Prank's
Aggro's too good.
Yeah.
Karma's too good. Like everyone's just screaming everything all the time. And so unless you're like a high level player who's really invested in the game, like you probably don't even know who to listen to or what the reality of the situation is.
That's true.
Right?
I have to imagine the writers know at least a little bit who to listen to, right? Okay, you have popular content creators who are like very high level players. Listen to those guys. You have someone who's been like close to rank 1 on the ladder board every season. Maybe listen to that guy. At least like take it into consideration. And there are a few things I feel the community just like unanimously agrees upon.
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually. Aurelia Azure was way too good. This was like a unanimous thing among the community. Which you don't see.
And yet still.
Yet still,
people from Riot were like,
no, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's
Just play
fine.
other stuff. And maybe in their internal testing, they found something that beat it. But I don't believe that.
No. Because this is what they do. They're looking at ladder stats.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're looking at. They're always referencing them. They're always looking at ladder stats. Like we don't want it to be above 55, 60% on the ladder. What you don't understand is that, like...
Okay, but Demacia Sivir's been above that since it existed.
It was at 55.
It was at 55
last season.
In Masters at the end of the season.
Okay, so that's another caveat is that at the end of the season, you see the best decks really like just like that's all that's left. Blades, TF Fizz, Sivir. At the end, it's just like just everyone's on this and like everyone gets it. Everyone understands how to play the deck. The lists are refined. Everyone starts crushing with it. And that's like one of the big issues. Like Aurelia Azure at first was not above 55% for a long time. Deck was like really weird and complicated and people didn't know how to play it. So like, yeah. And then by the end of the season, everyone figured out, like just mulligan really hard for these cards. And like, this is the play pattern. And this is how it works. And just smashing.
The play pattern which we love, by the way. We
love it so much. I couldn't even beat it with Thresh Nasus, which was supposed to be the counter.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't even a good matchup
all
anymore.
The, like, counters were like 45%, and you're like, this is bad. So not stoked. I'm really upset about that. And I really didn't want to see Demacia Sivir Worlds Edition. Really didn't want to see that. Like, we have this new set. I really wanted to see new stuff. And there will be a lot of new stuff at Worlds. Like, but it's going to be 70% of the people bring Demacia Sivir. It's one of their 3 lineups. I mean, one of their 3 decks. Like, that's a gross exaggeration. But
yeah, what do you think the number actually is? So there's 64 people per shard.
Yeah.
And there's like, technically it's 3 shards.
If nothing changes right now, 30 of them will bring Demacia Sivir.
Yeah. I mean, it's really just that good. Like you're saying, like, is there a lineup that you're like, oh no, what if they bring these 3 decks?
Nope. It does not really exist. You could. But
yeah, you have to try real hard though.
But it's a bad lineup.
Yeah.
It's like completely all over the place. You can do what I did and build one that's like specifically for like Sivir decks and stuff, and it's like 55s against Sivers. It's like fine. But
yeah,
you lose a lot of points against a lot of other stuff. So
a lot of points against a lot of other stuff.
Against a lot of other stuff. Yeah.
Try to beat some Scion decks. Good luck.
Yeah. Or the lineup I brought where it was like Lee deep and then whatever. Even like Lee deep Sivir like crushes what am I's open lineup because you just can't beat Lee or deep. Like he can. That's obviously I'm being hyperbolic here, but like the things you have to do to like make your lineup good against Demacia Sivir ruins your lineup. And really narrows down the choices you can make. And I just really didn't want to see something where 50% of the field brings the deck because it's the best possible thing you can be doing. And this is Worlds, right? Worlds has no room for I'm going to be a special snowflake and play the cool decks, right? You don't have time for that. Like, I'm here to win. If you make top 16, you're getting like $7,000 if you lose all your games.
Oh yeah, for everyone that anyone that doesn't know, this just got announced like yesterday. I think they dropped the prize breakdown for Worlds. First place would be $40,000, and 16th. So it's going to cut to a top 16. All top 16 gets paid. Everyone else doesn't, which
kind
of sucks. But yeah, 16th place gets what? Just under $7,000.
Yeah, it's like 67.50 or something like that. And then it's actually very like generously spread. Which I like. I would have liked a big number at first, like 75,000 at least, just to be like, pow, right? Like, that's just cool.
At least 50.
At least 50. I said at least
nice
50
round.
when they announced 200,000. I was like, I want at least 50 at first. Because it's like, I don't know, saying, yeah, first place is 40,000. If you're coming from another card game, you go, first place for Worlds, 40,000.
Magic has been doing that for 30 years.
I'll play something else. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm happy with the breakdown. I am. It does suck that 64, like the World's qualifiers get like basically nothing. I think it's like literally nothing. I don't even think you get a card back until you hit top 16.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. And that kind of sucks. Like, give me something cool. Give me some cool memorabilia. Give me one of those stupid like patches I can put on a backpack or something. I don't know, anything, right? Give me a cool mouse pad.
They should be doing more in-game stuff. Like, it'd be so cool. Just like it'd be so like qualifying for Worlds is really hard. I would know. I didn't do it. And so like or even top 32ing in seasonals, let alone top 16ing Worlds. Do cool in-game stuff, like having an emote, a unique emote would be super cool. Or having one of the pets. What are they called? I always call them pets.
Guardians? I don't know.
Guardians? Okay, I'm going back to pets.
Yeah, pets better.
One of the little guys that just does something special, maybe like a big, he produces a globe or something.
I think you maybe get one for top 16. No, I think it's like an icon and a card back, and like that's fine. But I would really like to see more stuff for that. And like, I'm tired of getting the same goddamn card back every seasonals.
Yeah,
I still think they should give a different color coded one for people who top 32. Just make it red.
At the minimum.
At the minimum. It's not hard. Just switch some color palettes around. But yeah, I would like some more in-game like recognition stuff because I love that stuff. I love cool card backs and cool boards and interesting prismatics and stuff. Want more of that.
Rank finishes. Yeah. How like it'd be so easy to have like I don't know whatever you want top 10.
Icons, but, top 20. I see what you're saying.
I think just like just for the rest of the next season, you just have a little like boop. You finished this rank. Like that's something that's really cool. That again, people in the Magic scene have wanted for a long time because as a content creator. A lot of these guys are just chasing the ladder, and like you get actual nothing for the ladder in Magic.
Yeah, and Magic.
It's like why not give them a little icon? And be like, hey, I finished. Also, there's no list like in Runeterra. You can like see where people
like
are at the end of the season.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. There's no leaderboard.
Yeah, there's no leaderboard. Yeah, so no one has any idea. You could I finished that first last season. Like no one have any. You can't prove it or disprove it unless someone with a photo, like a screenshot, was like, here it's me. But anyways, just having something in game as a content creator, as a streamer, as a YouTuber, being like, oh hey, my like little number one over there from last season, flex on it, or anywhere in top 10 is like a very good finish. Again, very difficult to do. I tried and could not do. And just, something like that. Just any of those little things. They don't seem like they'd be that big of an ask. But, again, what do we know? For how hard it is to make that stuff. They have been
pumping out content like it's nobody's business.
What do you mean by content?
I mean, cards, skins, boards, like
lots of cards,
all like emotes, like so much stuff. We've been spoiled for content. So I'm not whining on that front, but like it would be nice. And we've been saying this since like seasonals was announced. Be like, hey, it'd be really nice if like somebody won seasonals and got a plaque, or anything, right? Like that'd be kind of cool. Give me a white chroma card back for the seasonals or something for top 32. That's all. It'd just be really cool to have some in-game thing. Like getting a couple wins in its seasonals open round is an accomplishment and everything. But like for the elite, it's like I'd really like to have something else.
What if when you were Worlds qualified, you got like a little cool little icon? Just like I will love there's just a bunch of stuff that shows up when you play a game that just kind of shows that you're crushing.
There is the world's icon in the world's card back. You just have to top 16 for it, which is pretty cool. It sucks.
Not what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but it is cool that they have that.
It's rough that I'm pretty sure I'll have to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure I can make World's Qualification. I will play, and if I don't make top 16, I'm pretty sure I get literally nothing. No card back, no
card back, no nothing.
No, I'm pretty sure. Do not quote me on that, please. But yeah. I am still very excited about Worlds, though. Like, don't get me wrong; these are just things I want to whine about. Worlds, I'm stoked for.
It is, yeah. So it's double elimination.
Elimination.
Down to 6 players.
Yes.
Do you know, is it, do you play on one day? Why is it Saturday and Sunday?
I think it's different regions.
Okay. So is yours on Saturday or is it on Sunday? The Americas?
I don't know. I didn't check.
Oh my god. Oh, you slay me. If anyone wants to know what it's like working with Bay, this is a good indication. I'm joking. No, I'm actually the disorganized one. I love that you're like, yeah, World's next weekend. Since Saturday said, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I am free all weekend. I don't care what it is. I'll be there.
That's pretty much it.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's double elimination and it's bracketed, which is weird because I went through in my head. I was like, okay, double elimination means you play 6 rounds, 2 or 1 6-0 make it, and 5 like 5-1s or something like that, or it's 2 and 4. I can't remember. I did the math, and then Henneke pointed out that it's bracketed, which means
what does that mean?
It means that you can make it through it winners bracket.
Okay, right,
and win it like 4-0 and make it in, or you have to go through losers bracket and it's much more difficult, right?
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Being able to 4-0 and just be like. It reminds me of like PTQs where I could just double draw in, which is nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. It's gonna be intense. It's gonna be really intense.
It's gonna be.
We don't really know what's
pop
like
up inside a TP.
What?
It's gonna be intense.
It's intense. The one I always used was it's just like camping or something like that. It's intense. It's intense like camping.
It's intense. I straight stole that one from Ron. No, that's always what's the new show on Apple TV. If anyone hasn't seen it, I forget what it's called now.
I have no idea.
It's with the soccer coach, and it's killing me. It's my favorite show right now. I love it. It comes out every Friday. Oh, guess what day it is today? I love this show. So if you haven't seen it. Go check it out. It's where the soccer coach comes over from football or whatever, and it's just like a funny, make you feel good. Like just every Friday, I'm like, I need this in my life.
Okay, that's how I feel about my release radar on Spotify. I'm like, it's Friday, release radar, which is just like
is that?
30 songs we think you enjoy that were released in the last week, and I get excited about it every week. I
didn't know that was a thing.
It's really nice. Yeah. Do you have Spotify?
Yeah.
Yeah. Release radar. It'll be on your homepage. And if it's not, just look towards the For You or whatever, something like that. Hold on, let me pull it up.
But okay, we're getting off.
More importantly,
let's get back to the stuff. So let's talk about what people really want to hear about, aka
stuff.
What decks to crush with, and the new stuff. What's good, what's not good.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? Maybe some Scion, because I feel like that's been one of
proved itself. Was Draven Scion discard. It's a more mid-rangey take on the discard archetype, and it's really quite good.
Yeah. It put the first people in Masters on every shard, basically. Mm-hmm. We kind of figured that out day one when we were doing some tests with the different decks.
Scion, and we went, oh. Yeah, and then we found out the power of Lost Soul, where you just literally never run out of cards. That's really nice.
Just grind them out.
Yeah, the card's really good. It's a PNZ Noxus, because that means you get to take advantage of Rummage and Get Excited, which are really, really good cards. Especially when Rummage gets you insane value in the deck, insane value. Because now a lot of the cards you discard replace themselves with better forms. So it's just it's draw 2 cards and gain value. It's insane. So yeah, the deck's really good. And Scion alone was a house, man. If you're not playing stuns, hushes, balance effects, excuse me, then he just hits the board, and you go, because you have to block enough damage to where he doesn't overwhelm and kill you, but you can't block with too big of a unit, or he dies, and then he comes back and overwhelms and kills you. So, yeah, he's pretty good, man. He's pretty good.
Yeah, that deck is legit for sure. And if you're looking for a deck to climb with on the ladder, it's one of the better ones. Does some very powerful things, is very fast. Definitely jump on it sooner rather than later, because people will start to figure it out a little bit. For instance, I've been playing a lot of easy Draven, and I've realized like the way to counteract Scion is like you need to like comes down, deal damage to it, they attack, kill it, and then priority goes to you, and then you stun. Yeah. You just stun the 10-4.
Or you just stun Scion, right? I mean, unless you can. If you think you can't kill them in like the following few turns, then yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Speaking of, the next deck I wanted to talk about is Draven Caitlyn, which is like a Tri-Beam shell, but it runs like Caitlyn instead of Ezreal and Piltover Peacemaker instead of like Mystic Shots. This is a deck that people were pretty high on, and I think is less good than
nice.
Draven Ezreal.
Good, because I didn't want to like it, because I'm an Ezreal main for life.
There are pluses. Like, I think Caitlyn does a lot better against the more linear decks. The decks that just want to like get out fast and attack you, like Caitlyn's, I think is way better, because one, you can play Caitlyn on 3, which is like a huge plus. Because playing Ezreal on 3 is like, please kill my champion. Like, you're just like, I would love for you to mercilessly hunt it or shoot it.
What do you do? Block with it?
Sharp sight. Yeah, no, but Caitlyn can. Caitlyn can attack. Caitlyn can block. She's basically Draven 4 through 6, and the traps are like really, really good in that deck. One, because they could kill things, and two, because they uncounterably, without passing priority, put damage on your opponent's units, opening up your Phlox and your Scorched Earth, which is like a really big deal. The problem being is you lose that Ezreal late game, you know, and Ezreal's really good. Yep. And Ezreal's how you win like the deep matchup, right? Either like super
a lot of matchups
early. A lot of the matchups come down to flipping Ezreal and winning like that. And you lose that. And that's okay if the meta is favored for that, right? Like I think there's like the meta could be like good for Ezreal or good for like the Caitlyn version. I think the Ezreal in general is more powerful. But I wouldn't be surprised like if the meta is filled with stuff like spiders, discard, Lee Sin, then like Caitlyn's all of a sudden way better in my opinion. But yeah, also you don't play Static Shock in the Caitlyn version, and I love Static Shock, so that's tough. Yeah, so that's my take on the Draven Caitlyn version.
I don't want to like it because I am such an Ezreal fanboy, and I love that deck so much. But I've seen Caitlyn do all kinds of work. I've seen those flash bombs do all kinds of work.
She's very good if you can protect her. She doesn't have ETB value like Draven. Which is kind of unfortunate, but like if you get like 2 hits in with Caitlyn, then all of a sudden you're doing work. When you flip her, it's nuts. You're doing so much damage every time you hit with Caitlyn. You can block and deal damage to your opponent. You attack and deal damage to your opponent. You're planting like 4 traps a turn. Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, what does she do exactly again when she flips?
She plants on strike. She turns into a 4/4. On strike, she plants 4 traps, I believe, in the top 10.
Yeah.
And then, and she deals damage to the opponent's Nexus based on how many traps you've activated that turn. So, like, if they go to their turn and they hit 2 traps and then you block or you attack, it deals 2 to their Nexus.
Interesting.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but you played Ezreal Draven. That damage is really relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, every little piece of damage is relevant in that deck. Well, I guess, I'll have to try her out.
You gotta try it out. You gotta try it out.
Yeah. I'm on a mission to try out all of the decks, and I've been doing pretty good so far, and already, you know, I was talking about this a lot last season about how I wanted to get that big base of knowledge and stuff, and already now, because I've played so many of the new decks, I run into them all the time on ladder, and I'm like, I know what's going on here.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah, no problem. And man, what a difference it is than being like, what could they have here? Let me think of all the cards in these 2 regions and what they might possibly have and like how things might possibly go together, and just feeling around in the dark, basically.
Yeah.
Eyes closed, just putting stuff out there, hoping it makes sense. Whereas when you play against the deck, you're like, nah, I'm good to go. I know what they're doing. I got you.
Moving on from Caitlyn. Teemo Caitlyn, by the way, I think is bad. Stick with Ezreal Teemo if you want to play that. Yeah, it just doesn't
Yes,
work.
agreed.
New Karina, baller-ass card, though. Sick card.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
5 mana, 6 mana Karina. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think... It's not good enough to make the Teemo Caitlyn version good, but, like, the Karina card is insane. In that deck. The deck's just bad. Okay, moving on. The Darkness deck, Veigar Senna, way better than I thought it was going to be.
Same. I thought it was going to be a little bit memey.
I thought it was going to be
like just a little bit too cute. Just a little bit too like, oh, you don't draw the right pieces at the right time, you die. But whew,
you just kill people.
Whew.
Like
just
Veigar just kills people. I've 20 to 0 people on a turn, like a lot. Where I'll play Ishtali Sentinel, target their face, deal
Card's
14,
very good.
Make another darkness, kill them.
Yeah, that's the 6 mana 4/5 lifesteal.
Yeah, way better. I wrote that card off immediately.
Yeah, that was a bit of a joke.
Yeah, but then your darkness does 7, and you're like, damn.
Yeah, you hit them in the face. It's a big body with lifesteal that comes up the board.
Yep. So yeah, Veigar pleasantly surprised. Senna quite good in the deck. Outside of the Veigar darkness deck, very underwhelmed with Senna.
Yeah, hey, I haven't played her outside of that deck, but like, Ezreal Senna, I think has been running around.
I think that deck's pretty bad. It's like go hard, Ezreal Senna. You play like 3 statics, go hards. It's not very good. It's almost good. The problem is the deck has no like actual draw power. You have like some ways to like draw cards. You have like Static Shock, and then it plays like the landmark Catalog of Regrets, which unfortunately is less good than I wanted it to be so far.
Yeah.
We haven't done a home for it. And yeah, the deck just lacks like the raw draw. You have a bunch of like weird ways to draw, but it doesn't really fill that need.
Is that kind of like Spooky Karma? I feel like Spooky Karma was always like that.
Had the same thing, where you have deep med, but that's not really what you want. Now, speaking of draw, Hidden Pathways, insane.
That's the 5 mana draw too, but if you've created 2 cards, it becomes 3.
And you create 2 cards like
afterthought.
Yeah. Also, if you cast Go Hard, that counts, by the way. Just want to point that out. If you cast 1 Go Hard, you've created 2 cards that now cost 3. So that's pretty cool. If it was like a hard restriction to get across, that might be like worth really exploring. But like Hidden Pathways always cost 3. You play like the guy that makes the tiny spear, or like Otterpuss, or like something else. Speaking of Otterpuss,
anything
very good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's talk about. Okay, hold on. Let's finish up with the Darkness deck.
Okay, Darkness is quite good. It struggles against Sivir, like Spell Shield's tough, but it can work around it. I'm seeing a lot of different lists. I think the more controlling version is better. I don't want to be running Conchologist. I see that a lot. I think I cut those pretty quickly.
Is that which one's the Conchologist?
That's the one that like manifests something.
I love that card.
I cut it. The Darkness deck has so much value. I never run out of cards in the Darkness deck. I don't need it. I want to focus on like always having Darkness essentially, and then like building up to my
making
champs.
them cheaper and
cheaper,
bigger.
Do more damage.
What do you think of that one? The 4 mana 3/4 that makes them cost 1 less.
Fine. It's like I was under.
I wanted to not like it, but every time like my opponents were cheaper and mine worked or something, I was
it's a big deal, especially when Senna comes down.
Yes.
Right.
You do busted things
you
with
start
Senna.
casting Darkness like 2 or 3 times a turn. So yeah, like it's good, and I like running it in the deck. I saw
3/4 also very relevant right now. Hey, did you ever notice that?
Big body
Shut stuff down.
4 health is a lot. Yeah, and then Des and Ada is like not good. The 8 mana one, I know, shocker, right? 8 mana bad card. But like it doesn't level up Veigar. It doesn't count because it deals. It says the Darkness deals 2 to everything as well, but that it doesn't level up Veigar, which is unfortunate. Because leveling Veigar is like it's how you win the game. You just level Veigar and you throw 2 Darkness at your opponent's face and the game's over. So yeah, I like the deck. I will be experimenting a lot with it in the coming like week, I suppose. Other standout cards for me, Otterpuss. Insane
in
card.
that deck.
Just in general.
Oh, okay.
I do think people are playing Otterpuss in the Darkness deck, though. I think that's like the new thing, which I like, actually.
Interesting.
Because it's just you just want it like a blocker, but I'm so tired of playing Hapless Aristocrat. That card sucks so hard. So Otterpuss like fills that slot, attunes, and gives you a created card. And Prank is like halfway decent.
Yeah, let's talk about Prank a little bit. I haven't played with Prank. I've been pranked a bunch.
Yeah.
And so far I feel like I'm just winning like just the vast majority of those games.
I cannot tell you. I must have had people come into my chat yesterday and ask me or tell me how broken Prank was over 100 times. I swear to God. It was ridiculous. And every time they'd be like, how broken do you think Prank is? And I'm like, not even a little bit. It's like not good. And that's exactly how I felt about it when everything was spoiled. I'm like, you're never playing a card just to get the pranks. Like you will play a card that's like decent on its own that makes a prank, like Otterpuss, because it has a tune, it's 1 mana 1/1, that's like fine. And it makes a created card, and it's a spell. That's good. Because it's a spell. Not because it's a prank. Like, the pranks don't really care. For the most part, they just don't do anything. Oh, you made my spell cost 2 more. Yeah, that kind of sucks this turn. I'm just going to wait 3 turns and cast it anyway. Like, whatever. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's just supposed to be, like, little things that kind of keep you off balance. And I think it does that job very well. But yeah, pranks.
The information I think is very relevant. That's like something that comes up a lot. The information
is the most relevant. But people, that was the big one. Is I'd be like, it's not busted. Shut up. And they'd be like, yeah, but they get to see what's in my hand. I'm like, you've never played against Thoughtseize, and it shows.
Yeah. Also, like, it's Runeterra. Like, if you just guessed what they have on curve, like, you're right, like, 50% of the time. Mm-hmm. Like, you have a 40-card deck, you have mulligan, you have a bunch of cards in your hand. How often do people just hit exactly, like, oh, Draven on 3. Oh, Draven on 3 again. Oh, still Draven on 3. Like,
yeah. So, yeah, Prank's not busted. Stop coming into my chat and asking me how busted I think it is.
Or everyone go into his chat and ask him how busted it is, because that will be very...
I'm going to have to make a command for it. ! Prank. And it just says, shut up. So, yeah, Prank is fine. Like, the cards that make Prank are, like, okay if they're already okay cards. This is Otterpuss, the 2/1 elusive that makes Prank on hit. Like, these cards are fine because they're decent cards. And they make a created card. So, yeah, Prank, it's fine. Other cards that were, like, really big standouts, before I get into, like, other decks I really enjoy, Hidden Pathway is obviously insane. Minimorph is exactly as good as I expected it to be. It's, like, very strong, but very niche. And so you're not, like, slamming 3 into your Bandle City decks, right? Like, the more controlling decks run, like, 1 or 2 as, like, a pseudo-hush type thing, and that's about it. If we see, like, Lee take over the meta, you'll see more Mini-Morphs, more Aloof Travelers. We'll get into Aloof Travelers in a bit. But the card I wanted to talk about is, I cannot remember the name. It's a 5-mana slow spell that gives all your units +2/+2. Unless you've cast cards of 4 different regions, then it gives them +4/+4. That card's a house.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. When I first saw that card, it reminded me of some cards from Magic that have been like that and been very powerful. There's like a certain threshold. It's like everything gets +1/+1, not very impressive. Everything gets +2/+2. That's okay. We're starting to get more where we want to be. Everything gets +3/+3. This is overwhelm territory. Like, oh, now we're talking some real damage here. Across 6 units, that's 18 damage. That's a lot. Then everything gets +4/+4 is an absurd amount of damage.
That's like it's like Mind Meld territory. Like, it's big. So yeah, I was running Tristana Poppy with that, and it was quite good. No, sorry, it was Lulu Poppy. I was running Tristana Poppy, Naukpass's list, your buddy Naukpass. Made it to Masters on Tristana Poppy, and then Zoe Nami, which we are going to talk about, don't worry. So yeah, Tristana Poppy,
what is the Tristana Poppy list? Like, what is this?
The Tristana Poppy list is a, like, multi-region deck, where you're basically just there to, like, flip Tristana, play a bunch of multi-regions. It doesn't actually play the +4/+4 card, although I'm probably going to put that in there. I think it doesn't play it.
Does it play the Bandlewood thing that makes you win the game if you've played 10 different regions?
No, it's an aggro deck.
Okay.
It's got, like, a bunch of 1-drops, a bunch of 2-drops. It plays the Mayor.
Yeah,
it plays the Mayor. that makes your things cheaper. And then it actually plays 3 of like the Tristana's Buster Shot, which is pretty decent. It like deals 3 to a unit for 4 mana, unless you played 4 multi-region cards or Tristana, or you have a Tristana, then it costs 2 or something like that. It's quite good. Yeah, the deck's solid. The deck's pretty solid. It's not my pick for like best deck, but like there's a lot of like these Bandle City like multi-region decks out there, and I think we're gonna stumble upon a good version, and I think it's gonna play a lot like Zoo in Magic if you're familiar with that archetype. Just a bunch of like overstated, undercosted units, some tricks, and they punch you in the face. That's basically it.
Yeah, there's enough stuff there for sure. I like the mayor. I think the mayor's been is pretty good.
Cool dude.
I have been impressed by, I think this one's one that has flown under the radar. The 2/1 for 2 that makes a 1-drop when it comes into play.
Yes.
I thought this card was very like, nah.
Something.
I was like, whatever. I was like, this is whatever. Yeah. And like so often, there's so many 2/1s for 1 that like I've been just there like, play this, get another really good, there's like a surprising amount of good 1-drops, and then just like smoke you for like 4 or 5 damage out of nowhere, or get something that's useful.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to cover Aloof Travelers really quick, and then I want to move into my favorites. So Aloof Travelers is the 3/4/4/4 that makes both players draw a card. Your opponent discards their highest costed card. Pretty sick card. Now, I don't think you want to be playing this unless you're in like an attrition-based deck. This is like Draven Ezreal. Jay Sensational just sent me a list where it's Zoe Vi with 3 Aloof Travelers, because you can run iterative improvement, which I think is awesome. I'm really excited to try that out. But yeah, like Aloof Travelers does very good, like the Draven Ezreal type shells, because you're already fighting for cards, and often you get to the end of the game, and you both only have 3 cards or something, and you hit their big 7/8 drop, and like you just end the game. You just win. So yeah, I'm pretty high on the card. People's initial impression, and mine as well, where it's like you're playing Bandle City or PNZ, you just slam 3 of these, is not correct. I have lost. Yeah, I don't think so. I have lost the game by playing Aloof Travelers a few times, where I play it to hit the card they need to win, and they don't have it, but I draw them into it, and then they immediately play it, and I lose. Like, yeah, what are you gonna do? That's a
little results oriented. Yeah.
It is. I'm just like saying that happened. But the card is not insane all the time. So if you're not playing a deck that's not like looking to go the distance, I don't want it.
Yeah, I've had it a couple times. It's gotten me pretty good. Like one time I got like the last card in my hand, or last relevant card was like a Scion. And it's like, ooh, got it.
Yeah.
It's gotten Tri-Beams before, but I was like, got a second one. There's been a bunch of times when it almost got me. I was like, oh no! And then like I like just drew into like a Thermo Beam, and I was like, oh, card of that. Or I just drew into the new 8-drop that turns into a Challenger, which by the way makes you discard it, like, turns into a Challenger.
Thanks. Yeah.
I was like, oh no, my Scion! And then I was like, oh
yeah, thanks for the value. Yeah, it's a good card, but again, I don't think you want to be playing it outside of like grindier decks, mostly mid-range or control strategies. Okay. Moving on to my favorite cards, which is no surprise. I expected this to be my favorite going in. The Nami decks. Nami
Don't get it.
Oh, I love this, dude. I love Nami so much. It's just but there's so many flavors of Nami. I played Faint HDs. Okay, so let's go over the ones I played first. First, I started with the Bandle City Nami, right? The Pranks Nami. Not good enough.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. That's what I'm thinking of mostly, I think.
Cut that. Tried PNZ. Fizz Nami PNZ. This is like a classic TF Fizz, just with Nami instead of Twisted Fate, little spell heavier. Fine. It's okay. It's pretty good. Now let me tell you where the real spice is. Okay, there's 2 decks. Faint HD made this one yesterday, and I was having just a blast playing it. It's my most recent YouTube video, actually. And it's Shadow Isles Fizz Nami. With 3 Fading Memories and 3 Stalking Shadows. And Mind Melts. So you just like Stalking Shadows, hit Burblefish, and just go off. I think in the video, my opponent was at 20, and I had 0 cards on board, and I hit them for 36 damage. Like, it's
I love
nuts. It's so fun. Yeah, that deck rocks. You play like glimpses, like set of glimpses, like a set of pick a cards, like the full zaps. It's such a blast. Do I think it's going to be
you think it's actually good though?
I think it's good. I don't think it's like great. I think you could struggle against a lot of things, but like it could be really, really good. My personal favorite though, the one I think my pick for going to be the best Nami deck is Targon.
Oh, we're
Nami.
still going.
It's Zoe Nami. I think it's going to be the best one.
Zoe Nami. Okay,
Zoe Nami.
Definitely run into Zoe Nami.
And you put a huge emphasis on Sparklefly.
Right.
So I've started cutting all 2-drops from the list that aren't Sparkleflies, so when I crescendo, I always hit Sparklefly. Now that sounds horrible. But with a Nami on board, or
I've seen it before.
Fleet Admiral Shelley, does some serious work.
Because you can also play 1-drops, right? I assume you playing
I play
Spacey Sketcher?
Spacey Sketchers, Gift Givers, and the Dusk Petal guy. Solely to give me spells. Like, Gems plus Nami, cracked. Just absolutely bonkers, right? So I'm playing like a whole Mentors, because every time you cast a gem with Nami on the board, it's like +3/+1 of stats, right? It's insane. So you got a couple gems.
If she's flipped, you mean?
If she's flipped, yeah. And even if she's not,
you're just assuming she's always flipped because you're like, well, it's a tune though, right?
Nami has a tune. Yeah, Nami and Zap have a tune, and Fleet Admiral Shelley, and you're playing like 3 of each. But she flips. You just have to like play to flip her. Like even if you don't have her in your hand, you're just like, okay, well I could cast this unit here, or I could pass, and you just like take the pass, and then the next turn maybe you cast a spell, and then you just don't play the unit yet. That way you bank 3 more spell mana, and then she's basically flipped. Like you play an attune unit or 2, and you got there.
How does she flip? I thought it was going to pay
7 spell mana. You have to bank 7 spell mana.
Oh, so each turn that you pass with spell mana counts towards her level.
You have to gain spell mana. So having 3,
which happens, I see.
Yeah, so you spend your spell mana and try to conserve your mana and bank it, and then once you get to like 5 or 6, you just play like a Zap and Nami, and she flips, right?
Okay, I thought you had to play like 7 units with a tune. That's like how you flipped her.
You're like, you only run like 9 units with a tune. How are you doing this?
I was like, how? Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
So you flip her a lot. You can flip her pretty much every game if you just like try to do it. But yeah, like I'm saying, the Sparkleflies with Nami is bonkers. And
there's no more Hutches or anything running around right now.
And then you go pretty like wide. You have like a full set of Zaps, a full set of Burblefish, a full set of Sparkleflies, and a full set of Fleet Admiral Shelleys and Zoes. So like your elusive game plan is pretty insane.
Yeah. Shelly's nuts if it gets going.
Shelly's nuts. And this is like the best. Okay, I'm not going to say that. I think the Shadow Isles version is the best Shelly version, and it's only running like... I actually had to take out a Mind Meld to put in a Shelly. But like, this is one of the better Shelly versions. Because you have so many 1-mana spells. You have like the gems. You have the Lunari Dustbringer things. Gift Givers giving you gems. Mentors giving you gems. You have Gifts from Beyond. You have all 6 of the Targon Cyclers. Guiding Touch, Pale Cascade. Like, these cards are really, really good. I really like the deck. I don't think we've seen its final form yet. But, I expect it to be
those decks that... the decks like the discard deck, it's like, it's a little bit easier to like get those out of the gate. Mm-hmm. Decks like Darkness or like Kami, where you need like a bunch of spells and like just the right iteration to interact with people. Those take like a little bit more refining. Could depend on the meta quite a bit. And so we'll see those like flush out as the weeks come ahead.
We'll see them flesh out. Hopefully we don't see them flush out. That would mean we don't see them at all.
What else is there? What else has been popping up? Oh yeah, so speaking of is it Bandle Tree? Bandle what's City? Is it just called Bandle City?
Yeah, pretty sure.
The landmark?
Oh, I don't know what that's called. I thought you meant the region.
Oh.
It's Tree of something.
So okay, so that one, the landmark that lets you win with when you summon 10 units from different regions. Might not be busted or anything, but I've lost to it a couple times where like I was playing discard, I just like couldn't bust through. They just make infinite little blockers, and I just couldn't bust through. So it could be. I'm interested to like see where that goes. Maybe you just don't even need the landmark. It'd be interesting, like if there was sideboarding, you could like sometimes have the landmark, sometimes you get beat down deck,
and slower matchups,
sometimes do the combo. Yeah, because I mean, I guess it does. I was gonna say it doesn't do anything, but it generates a unit every turn.
It generates a unit every turn
nothing.
of a region that you haven't cast yet. So it reminds me of Maze's End.
It's a unit that it's a region that you haven't cast yet. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's really good actually. Now it's a great win condition, and like there are some matchups where I was just like, oh, like unless they like don't draw the landmark, like I don't think I can win.
Yeah,
so I'm not gonna win until like turn 9 or something at the earliest.
And that's the thing. I think the deck needs, you want that in a deck that could totally just win without the landmark, but then it could also win with the landmark. Because like you don't want to be a deck that has that as its own win condition, so that you lose if you don't draw the landmark, you lose if they kill the landmark, you lose if they just race you or go around you or ignore it or whatever. But if you can find a deck like that, which I mean, from what I've seen, they still beat face. They still got a lot of very powerful cards in the deck. That's one that I'm excited to try. That's like it looks like a lot of fun. I want that deck to be good. That'd be so sweet. Yeah,
definitely give that a go. And there's still a lot of new stuff that we're like trying out, that we're giving a shot. I think Ziggs is an aggro champion more than anything else. Stop trying to play Ziggs with Xerath. I know they have the same like level up, but they don't really work together very well. Xerath is trying like to be mid-range and control, and Ziggs just wants to attack you. He's a big boy, by the way. Like Ziggs is better than I expected. I knew it had good stats, but like a 3-mana 3/4 is just like really good. These are like really good stats. And then it pings blockers, so you can't like just block it with X1s a bunch of times and trade because it just kills it. So yeah, is Ziggs really good? I mean, probably not, but he is like better than I expected. And then I know people are experimenting with like Ziggs Talia and stuff.
Yeah. What about Xerath? Xerath. Yeah, the landmark decks, like they got they were already on the fringe of being like super busted, and they just got a bunch of new tools. That's an archetype in whatever shape or form that I'm like just kind of waiting to come out of the wings.
Yeah. I've never played the landmark decks very much. I played like Turbo Thralls a bit, but that was about it all. So I'm kind of sitting back and letting other people work hard on this one. And then I'll try it once we get to like a version people really like. But before then, I'm just kind of going to let it go.
Speaking of people building landmark decks, I assumed Grandpa Rogi would be all over that. But instead, I loaded up a game against him on like day 1, and he absolutely smashed me with, get this, Soraka Poppy.
Yep.
What?
Yep. I don't know what to tell you. Is he still playing that, by the way?
I have no idea. I don't know. This was like early day. I was like ripping through everyone. Yeah, and I was like, what is this Soraka Poppy? And then all of a sudden his things were gigantic. Yeah, and you're like, everything was just massive. And I was like, I can't kill any of this.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. But the deck was kind of good, actually. Rogi just all about that spice, man. He just makes spicy stuff.
I mean, you get such a huge edge by like coming at the format from just like a side that no one's ready for. I want to do that. I really want to do that more. I feel like part of it's like you got to find that little pet deck. Like even like you in Deep right now, or like the last couple seasons, just or like what am I and Targon everything. I feel like it's so important to kind of like just find these decks that not enough people are playing, so people don't really understand just how good they are. Like Grandpa Rogi with was it Talia Malphite in the last couple seasons. That deck was very good.
Yeah.
Deck was really good, and just people just didn't really pick it up too much or give it a lot of love. And he saw a lot of success with it.
Yeah.
And so that's something I'm looking for. Maybe it's the Bandle City Tree, whatever the hell it is. Landmark deck. I don't know. But I love just being able to not play like, oh, Sivir, or like, oh, this other deck. Playing stuff that people aren't prepared for. Just love it. All right, well,
yeah, I agree.
I don't know. Random tangent. Okay, we're coming up on an hour. Any other thoughts on the meta right now? What would you tell people to play if they're looking to climb? What are your like top 3 picks?
Ionia Sivir.
Yeah, just 1 through 3. Yeah. All Ionia Sivir. I mean, I've been having a lot of success with Ezreal Draven. Yeah. I'm beating up on lots of stuff.
Draven
lots of squishy
Scion,
decks out there.
Draven Scion, very good too. Like if you're wanting to play new stuff and you want to climb, Draven Scion's very safe. I think the Zoe Nami deck has some serious legs. And then the various Poppy decks are doing very good too.
So powerful.
So yeah, that's all I got.
Cards very insane. Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. I think those are all tried and true. Could be interesting to see where the format happens, where the format goes over the next like couple weeks, because I think there's a lot of like we're talking about.
Very interested to see where the format goes in the next week.
I wonder why Worlds. Also, though, like we were just talking about before we jumped on the podcast, now that Worlds is happening, it's going to be over in 3 weeks or whatever it is. Everyone's back to stage 1 again with like having to qualify for seasonals, having to qualify for next Worlds.
Maybe we don't really know.
Yeah. I hope we get an announcement by like the top 16 of Worlds of like what are we even playing for right now? Does ladder matter? Like is that how you qualify for seasonals again?
Yeah, we don't even know. Yeah, we don't even know.
You get 7 and 2
like changing at all, huh? So
nothing.
We'll just keep an eye out on that. We'll let you know as soon as we hear.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's it from us. I guess we'll have one of these the day before Worlds. We'll be able to give you guys a bunch of updates on what's been going on, what we expect to see. It's going to be an exciting event. I'm going to be doing a co-stream. Bay's going to be like playing it or something. I don't know.
I guess I'll like
so come. Definitely, yeah. Don't go to his stream. Go to my stream. We will watch it together and criticize his play unless he's winning. And then I'll be like, I taught him everything he knows. Okay. So that's it for us. See you guys again next week. Have a good one. Peace.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay. New episodes come out every Friday. If you haven't done so already, be sure to join us on Discord, check out the Patreon team, and have a look at our deck database on Twitter at Master Runeterra. Links to all of these can be found in the show notes and description.